In game number 24 this season, the Diamondbacks defeat the Miami Marlins by a score of 5-4. Hello there, I am Mike McDermott here from the AZ Snake Pit. We're recapping all 162 games of the 2022 season here on YouTube. Make sure to click the subscribe button, leave a like on the video, as well as maybe drop a comment how scared you were when the Marlins put on a charge in that 9th inning. So anyway, this matchup was a billing between two of the most productive pitchers in the league so far, Zac Gallen and his .6 ERA going against Pablo Lopez and his .39 ERA. Of course, at the end of the game, both pitchers' ERA started with a 1. The Diamondbacks did a good job of jumping on Lopez immediately. It's like Jordan Luplos got on base, and then Peralta blasted a 2-run homer in the first inning. It allowed the D-backs to basically play with the lead for the entire game. Probably the first time they've had a game like that since the Washington series, where they just led from the get-go and just never trailed. They would tack on 2 more in the third. Peralta in the middle of that once again. And then Jordan Luplow added an RBI single in the 7th inning, although the Diamondbacks certainly, with some base running and hitting fails, could have put up more but didn't, kind of thing. They got 4 runs on Pablo Lopez, so they jumped his ERA up to about 1.6, I think. If you care about that, but obviously both pitchers were probably due to give up runs at some point. Anyway, it was a good sign to see the Diamondbacks jump on a pitcher who has been hot coming in. So that's a good sign offensively to be able to quickly score and then just keep building runs on that guy. Meanwhile, Zac Gallen just as good as before. Cruised to the first 6 innings, got plenty. Never felt like there was maybe one shot the Marlins had any sort of scoring chance, but that quickly was ended by a 3-6 double play on a line drive. Nice play by Christian Walker to get a double play on that one. One taking away a hit and then turning it into 2 outs right there. So with the 5-0 lead, you felt like, okay, maybe the Diamondbacks can just cruise to the end of the game. That 7th inning again. They got bit by the 7th inning for the 2nd game in a row. So it was pretty peculiar. Gallen came in the 7th with 88 pitches, never really had to labor through any point of the game. So it made sense for him to come out there. Jumps ahead of Avisail Garcia and then has trouble putting him away before he hits him in the elbow guard with a fastball on a full count. So that should have been kind of a bit of a warning sign there. That's what you get up the bullpen when something like that happens. And I think that the current state of the bullpen is probably what's been leading to some problems of late. So anyway, he faces another hitter, Garrett Cooper, jumps ahead 1-2, hits him in the back knee with a fastball that he lost the handle on. I don't know what Cooper was thinking. It's like, you're not a good enough hitter for a pitcher to be aiming at anyway. So that kind of sucked. Another bat that got away. And then Gallen faced Brian Anderson. He gets Anderson to hit a pop. I think he gets a pop on Anderson that ends his. They pulled Gallen there after 102 pitches, 6 in the 3rd. Those 2 runners he left on ended up scoring. Yeah, another solid start in Gallen's case. So then Noe Ramirez comes in, and it looks like he was in pretty decent shape on the first batter he faces. He fell behind 3-0, couple high fastballs. He gets Rojas to hit a pop fly to first to the mound. Christian Walker catching it. And then next batter he faced, which was Jacob Stallings, jumps ahead of him, 0-2, and then ends up hitting him with a fastball inside. It's like, ugh, come on, guys. 3 fastballs that got away, and the bases were loaded. Now we got to deal with Jazz Chisholm with runners on base for the first time in this game. So Ramirez actually jumps ahead of him too, and has a couple really good changeups that's forced some pretty ugly swings, but unfortunately a foul Kelly couldn't hang on to a foul tip, although he would have had a tough time catching it in the first place. In my opinion, I don't think that was one of those things where he let one go. It was a tough one. Fouled off a couple really tough changeups, and then he got a fastball on the up and away. He was able to drive it over Luplo's head in right field. One of those situations where maybe we're trying to show velocity there and then finish him off with the changeup. I think that's what it was, but unfortunately left it up. Left it on the outer third of the plate, and Chisholm is really good at hitting fastballs. That was evident even in his D-backs prospect days. So that happened, and then another kind of like a situation. Now Aguilar comes to the plate, probably the only player slower than him is Albert Pujols. He hits a slow ground ball to the hole left side, and I think that's a play where Nick Ahmed's not thinking he thinks he can throw out the second slowest runner in the game, probably the second slowest runner in the game, and he makes a wild throw to first base, and that causes another run to score. I think that's a situation where Ahmed needs to pump fake the throw and check to see where the runner at second is. Chisholm's a very aggressive base runner. I think they could have kept him in check on that play potentially. Unfortunately, bad baseball IQ by a guy who normally has great baseball IQ. It happens. Trying to do too much in a close game, and it cost the D-backs a run defensively. I don't think Ahmed's a bad defender. He just had a bad moment. But anyway, it felt like they were going to have to win that game 5-4 after the play. It was like bullpen was going to have to get 7 outs. Okay, at that point, it's like Ramirez gets another out in that situation. And then you're wondering how they're going to get, and I was wondering how they're going to get to the 9th because let's face it, the bullpen is in trouble right now. If Ramirez, Mantiply, and Kennedy are keeping this bullpen together with duct tape, bubble gum, and toothpicks right now. That's the current state of the bullpen today. But Mantiply pitches a 1-2-3 8th inning. Very good pitching from him. I've been pleasantly surprised by how effective he has been. His pitching, getting swings and misses, and he's dotting his pitches on the edges of the strike zone, jumping ahead of hitters. I've been liking what I've seen so far. It doesn't matter what inning it is, he seems to get results. But then Ian Kennedy, obviously the de facto closer with Melanson on the COVID list right now. So Kennedy, a little bit of trouble. Gives up a 1-out base hit to Miguel Rojas, so it's like, uh-oh. Then he faces Stallings. He gets Stallings to fly out, but unfortunately a fly out only counts for 1 out. Stallings tried to plug the gap at Dalton Varsho, because he tried to plug the gap and Dalton Varsho catches everything. Except he's more effective catching baseballs in center field than catching. But I digress. Anyway. After that, so now it's Chisholm, and then it's a situation where you have a fastball dominant pitcher against a hitter that loves hunting fastballs. I thought it was fine with the walk, even though it moved the tying run into scoring position and put the winning run on base. That's just a situation where you just pitch yourself away from a bad matchup. Take your chances with the guy that came off the bench as a defensive replacement late. Take your chances with that guy. So anyway, against John Burke, Ian Kennedy goes full, and I think he got him to chase a high fastball. Pops up a little bit of a miscommunication on the infield. Fortunately, Christian Walker was still able to secure the catch. That's a situation where Nick Ahmed needs to back up and stay away, because running over the mound to try and catch a baseball is a bad idea. Whereas Christian Walker was pretty much under it from the get-go. Of course, Walker should have made it obviously clear and present that he was going to be under the ball and catching it. Just be like that, just like body language. Demonstratively call it, and even if he can't, maybe if he can't hear, he can see. And I think a little bit better communication. I think Ahmed doesn't try to run into him. In that was a situation, if Nick Ahmed screwed that play up, the Marlins would have won, because Chisholm was rounding third when the ball was dropped. He was on his way to home when the ball got in the Walker's glove. So fortunately, they escape with a win, unlike last year, where they blew a big lead in the first game of the series against the Marlins and ended up getting swept. In fact, the game's almost played out similarly as it did last year. Fortunately, the D-backs held on in the 7th inning this time. So that was a good sign for the team, obviously. Nice to pull out a win. So now they're at 11-13, despite a bad bullpen outing. Bad inning, but. So anyway, game 2 of the series. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, most likely same time, same place. Tomorrow's starter will be starting pitchers. Not Ian Kennedy. This day's starting over. D-backs will be sending Humberto Castellanos, and likely a combination of him and Corbin Martin will be pitching. Going up against Trevor Rogers. Second year lefty that had a pretty good rookie year. Let's see how they hit him next time around, obviously.